Hello everyone, my name is Asyrafchazz and welcome back to yet another One Piece card game video, and I have been playing a lot of Arlong recently. I've been having a lot of fun with Arlong as a leader. It's just a really efficient way to bring out your 4-cost or below characters with trigger, and a lot of cards in yellow like Cracker, Smoothie, of course Sparrow and Brule are there that you can use to alongside Arlong's ability. Now there is a version that uses all the East Blue cards, but I feel like Arlong benefits the most using in conjunction with the cards in yellow that have trigger. And of course in green you can kind of mix and match what you're playing, but this version is primarily heavy yellow with a little splash of green, which we'll get into in the deck profile. And also this deck runs the new event card from the YAMATO starter deck, so take a look. It's actually a really good event counter, and I have been having a lot of fun with Arlong. In between my games with Katakuri, I've been having a lot of fun with him. So give it a shot, take a look at the deck list, and let's jump into the deck profile as well as a gameplay using Arlong as a leader. Alright, so here is the breakdown of the deck itself. We have, the leader Arlong, Dawn 2. When attacking, you may pay 1 Dawn, then play up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less with trigger from your hand. So this is a good way to kind of be aggressive. You're kind of being a little bit like Katakuri in a sense, because Katakuri, you're putting 1 Dawn in Katakuri and you're swinging for 7k base attack, and then on your 3 Dawn, 4 Dawn turn, you are playing either a Sparrow or a Charlotte Cracker. So with this, you can essentially do the same thing, except you're attacking for 7k, you're paying 1, and then you're playing out either Sparrow, Charlotte Cracker, or Charlotte Smoothie, or even a Brule if you need to. So this version is kind of primarily yellow. You can see the same old things like pudding for your searcher if you need to search out your Big Mom pirate stuff. Your 2k counter slots go to Sanji, of course Strusen. We're not playing the starter deck pudding in this 2k counter slot because pudding can't search it out, but I am putting in Izo. Even though it's not searchable, it is a good way to kind of rest Marco the Phoenix as a blocker and then trying to go for game that way. I feel like I need a 2k counter slot that is actually useful. So because we're in green, because it's Arlong, yellow and green, I opted to add in Izo. It does come up more often than not. If not, I'll use it as a counter. And because we're in green, I am putting in the 4 copies of Capone Gang Beige just as an early blocker. You can kind of swap this out maybe with some events, but I find that having extra protection, because Arlong starts at 4 life, having an early blocker on your turn 1 play, like you can either play out Capone Gang Beige or Pudding. This is a good way to be mana efficient as well, Dawn efficient. It's a great way to kind of defend early. And then of course we're playing Krieg, because Krieg is just really good right now in the meta game against Zorro, against other Katakuri decks that play out their own Cracker, Sparrow. This is a good way to kind of clear the field with just 1 card and a card from your hand. And then it also presents a threat because it has potentially double attack. So you are starting at a less life. Cracker would be really good here because you are starting at a lower life. You can potentially go for the double attack route and just force your opponent to kind of react accordingly. And yeah, Dawn Krieg is just really good. And of course the cards with trigger that benefit from Arlong's ability is Cracker, Charlotte Smoothie, Charlotte Sparrow, and Charlotte Brule. So there's a lot. There's like 12 cards that you can do. I tried a version with the East Blue stuff. It's just not as impactful as I would love it to be. I've seen a version with Nami and then of course the East Blue trigger cards, but I feel like the yellow ones are stronger. So I have opted to make this a yellow version with just a splash of green cards. And of course the top end, the late game, you are spamming out your 7-cost Big Moms. You cannot play the 10-cost Big Mom because Arlong is not a Big Mom Pirates leader, but you can play this 7-cost Big Mom from the starter deck. You can just drop it down and then make it so that your opponent is awkward in giving you life. They probably wouldn't want to lose life so early, so they'll probably end up giving you life, so it sustains you a little bit more. And I throw in Soul Pokers because it seems to be good. It catches people off guard, and I've been having a lot of fun with Soul Pokers in this deck. You can kind of swap it out with more counters if you want to, but it's been working well for me and it's really good. And lastly, the card that kind of makes this deck work is a efficient 1-cost counter, and this one gives you, if you have 2 or less life cards, which Arlong will definitely get to, then give something minus 3000 power. It acts as though it's like a guard point, and it's effective against I would say 7k attacks because it drops it to 4k, and also 9k attacks because it drops it to 6k. So you can pair this with a 2k counter and then you successfully get out of the attack. So I think 4 copies of this is definitely needed. It is from the Yamato starter deck, so in the future if you want to pick it up, you can. It will be really good. And there it is, that's the list. You can take a look, you can try it out, you can swap out a little bit, you can swap out Sword Pokers if you want, you can swap out Izo for a different 2k counter, but I do feel like you need at least 12. I would try to fit in a bit more. If I can drop this down by 1, I'll probably add in another 2k counter or something. But this list has been going really well. You can win games with it, and Arlong is actually really fun. So I suggest you try this out. It's super great, and we'll jump into a game right now so you can take a look at how this deck actually plays out. Okay, we have a game against Zorro. Alright, we got 2 blockers and we can put this out, but I'm not sure if I want to keep this hand. You know what? Maybe I'll keep it first. Let's see. I guess I got early blockers against Zorro. So this is the test. Like, can an Arlong deck beat Zorro? And I'm guessing this will be like OP-03 Zorro. So gonna be tough for sure. Hopefully we can do something against Zorro. I'm worried if he has a jet pistol. Okay, he did take a radical beam, so that's something we gotta pay attention to. Alright, so we are just going to drop down both our blockers and enter. Since, you know, we have them on turn 1. Next turn, we can attack in for 7k and use his ability, pay 1, and then we can play up the smoothie for free. So that's what Arlong wants to do. He just wants to put out these, you know, characters with trigger. Mostly the ones from yellow. I'm not playing a lot from green. I don't think I'm playing any from green. So it's mostly like a yellow deck package, but the green cards are the 1-cost blocker, just cause, you know, it's more mana efficient that way. I put in Izo for the, you know, ease of being able to rest a blocker. We'll take this. No trigger. And for this, I feel like I should counter this. So I will counter this. Draw a card. There we go. We got Dawn Creek. So that's kind of good. So I think I'm just going to attack into the leader. Ignore the Nami for now. Play out the smoothie. Try be aggressive that way. He has to get rid of the smoothie if he wants to kind of progress. But we're going to drop down the pudding and try to look for more trigger cards. We're going to take Cracker here because I think we're going to be at less life than Zorro. So Cracker is going to be good because he can potentially be a double attacker against Zorro. Now Dawn Creek is really good at, you know, taking care of the small ones. So this is kind of like just in case he decides to attack with it. If he doesn't expect the Dawn Creek, I can get rid of some of his characters that way. Now we just need to kind of survive the early onslaught of Zorro and then stabilize after that. So I can attack with Cracker and I can play out Brule, just be super defensive, still attack with Smoothie. We gotta see what he drops. The good thing is he didn't drop the Marco the Phoenix to get rid of our pudding or one of our blockers, because this deck doesn't really have a good way to deal with Marco the Phoenix because this version doesn't run the 8-cost Katakuri. So I think it's gonna put the 2 Dawns onto Nami or maybe even to Magra. Didn't try to be really aggressive in attack. Oh wow. So I think this is gonna be a 7k swing maybe? Or even a 6k swing. In that case, I will counter with Izo, block one of the attacks. Maybe I'll take this. Maybe I'll take one. And then I'll block the other one from Zorro with a blocker. You gotta be really careful because he has a lot of things he can attack with next turn. But it just makes Creek that much better. So I think he's evaluating whether he should search. Okay, we're just gonna block here. So, okay, he does have a radical beam up. Okay, this is one of the other things that makes this deck really good as well. A good counter, I would say. So we're gonna use pudding to attack the Nami first. Okay, he doesn't. Save it, which is good. I gotta be really careful here. So I'm gonna attack in first in case there is a jet pistol in his life. Not gonna use the card action. Because I'm okay if he wants to get rid of Smoothie. Or he may even get rid of the blocker, which, you know, that would get us in a little bit of trouble. Okay, that's Marco down. So let's attack into Zorro, use the card action, and attack with bring on the Cracker. This is a downside of facing red decks because you are attacking and then the ability happens beforehand. So if there's a jet pistol, that's it. Okay, we're gonna end here. We got 4k worth of counters up. Now we just need to survive and stabilize, and then hopefully we can get in like a big hit with Cracker. But he still has like a grip full of cards in his hand, so it's gonna be a little bit scary. Because this deck doesn't have a lot of Searcher sort of Charlotte Pudding. So yeah, we gotta be really careful here. He can attack with everything, essentially. Put 1 Dawn on Zorro, 1 Dawn on Brook. It's already 5k. Put 2 Dawns here, 2 Dawns here. He can swarm with like 5ks, and I will just really counter a little bit heavily here, just to keep myself at 2 life. And then 1 Dawn Creek down should, you know, at least kind of stabilize a little bit. Okay, that's good. I hope he doesn't drop a Marco the Phoenix, because that will get rid of one of our blockers. If he Marco the Phoenixes here, he's only attacking maybe 5k. Yeah, he needs to use one of the Dawns on Zorro. So he's only attacking for 6, which means we can just counter out of it. So that's good. Spending some time to think about what he should take. Okay, he did draw Marco, but this is OP-02, which is the blocker Marco right here. I have to remember that he's still at 3 life, so if he does block with Marco the Phoenix, he cannot bring it back. Ooh, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to let Pudding go, even though it's a really good way to attack into some of his stuff. Marco? Yep, there we go. Here comes the Marco the Phoenix. Get rid of Brûlé. It's probably gonna... Okay, it's attack for 5k. I think I will still counter out of it. This is not good. It's like he's playing really well, and our Dawn Creek isn't really that good right now. So I think I would just try to go in for a big hit. So he's probably got 4k. No, he doesn't. He can't use Vertical Beam right now. So we have less life. This is 6k, 7k, 8k, 9k, 10k, 11k. Let's just hit him with a big double attack. Gonna put 1 on Smoothie. Attack. Don't use the card action. Just trying to get some counters out of his hand. And another one with Arlong for 5k. So now we gotta protect our characters and at the same time try to survive. Well, he's at 9 Dawn, so you know he could drop like a Whitebeard if he wants to. Be more defensive next turn. Drop a Whitebeard, 7k. Alright, here comes the Ezo. Ooh, he drew a Fire Fist. That's really bad for us because he can get rid of one of our stuff and our blocker as well. It's most likely what he's gonna do. This is why this deck is really bad against Zorro. Or any red deck, because Fire Fist is such a strong card. Yep. He's probably gonna get rid of Cracker and the Caponian Beige. There we go. Don't think we have enough to protect Smoothie here. But we have to see. We have to see what he attacks with. So 1. Let's use this. We'll try our best to save Smoothie, but I'll try my best to save Smoothie so that, you know, I can potentially attack. So he needs at least 9k here. So I think we're good on saving Pudding. So he can put 3 Dawn here, that's 7k, and then if only he puts 3 Dawns onto here, which means he'll be down. Oh, got a Zorro. Which means we're gonna protect it. Okay, now I think we have to kind of go for it, right? So I need to be at 11 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 9. Plus 2, it's 11. So attack into Zorro. Use the card action. Take the top life. So if he counters out of this, then I lose. But I gotta go for it. If not, I'll lose the next turn. Oh, we won! Hey, there you go. So, you know, sometimes it works against Zorro. You know, I guess he didn't have enough counters. I think he made a mistake by discarding the Vertical Beam and trying to get rid of this. That's why I protected this super hard. The only way that he could have won is to put like 3 Dawns onto Brook, because Zorro already has the +1. It'll be 7k, then I couldn't counter out of it. The fact that he put this was a mistake, because then he only attacks for 6. But then again, you know, it's very risky. But if he was going to play this anyway, he could have swung in with Brook for higher power. I don't know. That's just talking through like his thought process. But I was quite lucky. I think he didn't have a lot of counters in his hand. But there you go. There you go. I hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. There's a lot of different versions you can do with Arlong. I've tried it with like the worst generation package with 8 cost Eustace Kid, 5 cost Trafalgar Law, and as well as Jewelry Bonnie for extra search. And it's okay. I mean, you can play it that way. But I've kind of been enjoying this particular build. It's just straightforward. You just want to be aggressive, catch people off guard with your characters that have trigger, a lot of double attack potential with Charlotte Cracker and Dawn Creek, and then finishing off the game maybe Big Mom, and defending really heavily with the 1 cost event counter. So try it out for yourself. Let me know what you think about Arlong. Is this something that you may potentially want to play in OP-03 metagame? It's fun now that Whitebeard is not around anymore. Maybe Arlong can take its place somewhere in the middle. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.